Spoiler warning, this is the whole story of Spider-Man: No Way Home, including the ending. Peter Parker has already saved the world, but then one angry man on a giant screen tells everyone that Peter is Spider-Man, and suddenly saving the world is the easy part. Now strangers surround his apartment, cameras follow his friends, and every ordinary day becomes a tiny disaster with web shooters. The accusation is worse than embarrassing. Mysterio has made Peter look like a killer. Peter, MJ, Ned, and Aunt May are questioned, watched, and treated like a dangerous secret that escaped its box. Peter can swing over New York, but he cannot swing away from people yelling his name. When MIT rejects MJ and Ned because of the chaos around him, Peter feels like his double life has crushed their futures too. So Peter goes to Doctor Strange with a very teenager-sized wish and a universe-sized consequence. He asks for a spell that makes everyone forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Strange warns him to be careful. Peter agrees, then keeps adding little exceptions. MJ should remember, Ned should remember, Aunt May should remember. Each change shakes the spell like someone trying to carry soup while running downstairs. Strange catches the damaged magic inside a strange little cube. For a moment, catastrophe is folded into a box, but something has already slipped through. People from other universes, people who knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, are being pulled toward this world. The first visitor is a metal-armed scientist on a bridge. He mistakes this Peter for someone else, attacks, and learns too late that he landed in the wrong universe. Peter uses a new suit and some quick thinking to trap him. Then another visitor arrives, a man whose body is made of sand. Then a flying green attacker with bombs. Then a glowing man full of electricity. Then a giant lizard hiding in the shadows. It is like every bad memory from other Spider-Man stories has found the same door. Strange wants the simple answer. Press the magic button. Send every visitor home. The problem is that these men were pulled from moments just before death or disaster in their own worlds. Sending them back may mean sending them straight into the worst day of their lives. Peter cannot accept that. It is an awkwardly kind choice, and that makes it dangerous. He wants to cure them instead, not defeat them, not punish them, cure them. Strange thinks Peter is risking everything for enemies who would not do the same for him. Peter thinks being a hero means trying anyway. Peter even fights Strange in a world of folding buildings and impossible staircases to keep the cube away from him. It looks enormous, but the argument is simple. One person says save the world fast, the other says save the people inside it too. Peter uses strange geometry like a math problem with punches and steals the cube. Back at Happy Hogan's apartment, Peter, MJ, Ned, and Aunt May turn a fancy apartment into the least safe science classroom in New York. They begin making cures. A new device can calm the metal arms controlling the scientist. A tiny vial may remove the electric man's power. A serum may help the sand man. They even try to help the green attacker, Norman Osborn, who seems frightened by the monster living inside him. For a few minutes, the plan almost works. Norman talks about being scared of the Green Goblin. Peter listens. Aunt May sees a lost man, not only a villain. Peter begins to believe that kindness can fix this whole mess with enough wires, enough patience, and maybe one very brave aunt. But the goblin is not gone. He is waiting. The personality behind the smile takes control, turns the visitors against Peter, and destroys the fragile piece. The apartment becomes a battlefield. The cure machines break, the villains escape, and in the chaos, Aunt May is badly hurt. Peter wants to believe she is okay because she stands up and speaks to him. She tells him the words that every Spider-Man eventually learns in the hardest possible way. With great power comes great responsibility. Then she dies. Peter is left alone with a sentence that now feels heavier than every building in Manhattan. This is where the story stops being a game of surprise visitors. Peter has lost someone because he tried to help. He is angry. He is tired. And for one terrible moment, he wants revenge more than mercy. Meanwhile, Ned discovers that he can open little magic portals using Strange's ring. He and MJ are trying to find their Peter. Instead, the first portal brings in another Peter Parker, older and calm, from another universe. A second portal brings another Peter Parker, younger but carrying his own old grief. Suddenly there are 3 Spider-Men in one room, which is useful because they can compare web problems, but more important because they can compare pain. The older Peters know what grief can do. One lost an uncle. One lost someone he loved. They do not tell Peter to get over it. They tell him they understand. That is the small miracle in the middle of the giant magic problem. Peter is not fixed. He is simply not alone anymore. The 3 Peters make a new plan. They will not kill the villains. They will finish the cures. Each villain is not a trophy. Each is a person trapped in a broken version of himself. So they build new devices together, line up their strengths, and choose the Statue of Liberty as the place to end this. The final fight is loud, high above the city and full of falling people, broken scaffolding, and villains who think they have already won. The Electric Man is cured. The Lizard becomes human again. The Sandman is calmed. The Scientist is freed from his arms. One by one, Peter's impossible idea works, but the Goblin remains. He attacks with everything Peter hates. Peter finally pins him down and nearly kills him with the Goblin's own weapon. This is the revenge moment. It would be easy. It would feel fair for 1 second, and then it would change Peter into the thing he is fighting. Another Peter stops him, not with a speech, just with a hand. The older Peter takes the blow meant for him but survives. The younger Peter uses the cure. Norman returns, confused and horrified by what he did. Peter has lost Aunt May, but he has not lost the part of himself she believed in. Then the sky begins to split. Strange explains that the broken spell is pulling in more people from other worlds who know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. There are too many. The only repair is a final spell that makes everyone forget Peter Parker completely. Not only the public, MJ too, Ned too, even the people who helped him most. Peter promises MJ he will come find her. He tells Ned they will be friends again, then he asks Strange to do it. The portals close. The other Peters go home. The villains return to their worlds with a chance to be different, and Peter is left in a city where no one knows his face. Later, he visits MJ at the coffee shop where she works. He has a speech ready. He could tell her everything, but he sees her scar, hears her laugh, and realizes she is safe. The words stay in his pocket. He lets her have the life that the spell gave her. Peter moves into a tiny apartment. He studies for a test. He makes a new suit by hand. No giant team. No magic helpers. No one waiting at home who knows why he is late. Then he swings through the snowy city again, not because his life became easy, but because someone still needs help. And there is one more quiet joke in the sadness. Peter has spent the whole movie asking magic to make his life normal. At the end, he finally has a normal apartment, a normal school problem, and nobody staring at him. It is exactly what he asked for, except it costs more than he imagined. The mask is still there, but now the person beneath it has to decide who he is without applause, without famous friends, and without a shortcut. That is why the final swing matters. It is not a victory lap. It is Peter choosing the job again on purpose. That is the strange ending. Peter saves the people he loves by losing his place in their memories. He saves villains by refusing to become one. And he becomes Spider-Man in the oldest, simplest way. Not with a bigger suit, but with a choice to keep helping when nobody can even thank him.